Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cat's Corner. If you don't mind, reach down and hit that subscribe button so we can keep rolling out these episodes. Our guest this week is, in my opinion, one of the best interviews on the Cardinals, if not perhaps in all of Major League Baseball, is Cardinals starting pitcher Miles Mikolas. Miles, I just don't want to mess this thing up.
No, you won't. And I really appreciate your, you're pumping me up right there.
No, you're good. I appreciate you coming on. So let's start with the new stuff. The Cardinals said they wanted 3 starters. They got 3 starters. They bring in Sonny Gray. They bring in Lance Lynn. They bring in Kyle Gibson. Just your thoughts on those additions.
I'm super pumped. I know Lance a little bit from some of my World Baseball Classic stuff, and I know Gibson's a big friend with Waino, so if you're friends with Waino, that's enough for me. And I've heard great things about Sonny as well. They're great pitchers, but more importantly to me, I hope they like golfing, and I hope they play cards a little bit. So that's I'm looking for some new golf partners now that Waino's gone. Sad to say, but they're great pitchers, and I've heard nothing but good things about them in terms of character and things like that.
And you are honoring Waino with the T-shirt today, I see.
That's right.
Now, Lance Lynn, you mentioned you got to know him from the World Baseball Classic.
Mm-hmm.
I know Lance, okay? Lance has an edge to him. Did you sense that? And can that be a good thing?
I like that. I do. I think that's that's that edge, that competitiveness. I think that's something that every pitching staff needs, and I think he's going to bring that. And I think he's going to bring it to everyone else. He's kind of guy that's going to challenge everybody else and, try to pump everybody up. And, he's a big guy, big, tough guy. And I think those guys are very important to have on the pitching staff.
So with Lance also, you're a different interview. You bring up something and you take in the direction. You're fun. Lance kind of likes to fight with the media a little bit. He likes to fight with the media.
Little sparring going on.
Yeah, he's great though. He's great. You're 35 years old. The average age of the starting rotation is now 35 years old. I don't do a lot of research into these things, as you probably know, but I would assume in terms of age, you guys are near the top of Major League Baseball. Is that a good thing, do you think, in the long run?
Well, aging like a fine wine. You go buy a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of scotch, you want a 35-year-old bottle, right? Not a 20-year-old bottle. So I think we got experience, we got flavor, little dust on the shelf, but I think it's good. And I think it's important to have, some veteran guys around. We've got some veterans on the position player side with Goldie and Arenado and Willson, and rounding that out with a good experienced staff to help some of the younger guys. I think will be great.
One of the things that you guys have collectively as an experienced starting rotation, guys that give innings. I want to ask you about your season last year. I know you weren't happy with all the results, but you did get to 200 innings again. I think second straight year for that. But what did you make of last season? What worked and what didn't?
I had my ups and downs. I had some good stretches that were pretty good, and unfortunately, my rough patches were pretty rough. Sometimes it's how good are you on your bad days, and I wasn't very good on my bad days. I didn't battle like I should, and keep those runs off the board. Like I want to. But going forward, there's a lot of things to work on, and a lot of things I did good. Towards the end of the year, I was able to finish strong my last couple starts, and I had a couple good runs in there where I had some successful stretches, a couple starts in a row, but I wasn't consistent enough. And I think bringing some consistency to my routine and my regimen, I think will pay some dividends going forward.
Quick change of location because of technology, and technology has bitten us. You were talking about what you had to do in order to find more consistency this season.
Yeah, just find a little more consistency with my off speed stuff and keeping those in the zone when I need them, And that slider is kind of bounced around for me the last couple of years, where I'm not always so happy with the grip, and sometimes I try to make it better and I end up making it worse, or I make it, I get the shape I want, but then I have trouble locating it. So that's just something I really want to focus on in my bullpens leading up to spring, and my outings in spring training, is making sure that slider specifically, but both breaking balls are in a spot where I feel comfortable using them both in any situation.
So you bring up consistency. Last year was different because you did pitch in the World Baseball Classic and you didn't get used a whole lot. So how did that kind of mess with your preparation for the season?
Yeah, I don't like to use that as an excuse, really. I mean, I was plenty ready for the season. From a workload standpoint, it's an easy cop out. I know a lot of people don't like the World Baseball Classic, and how it kind of messes with guys. But I don't. That's not something that I wouldn't throw that out there. It's maybe a combination of a lot of things. The World Baseball Classic, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Things can kind of compound and make things not go so smoothly. But I wouldn't. It's not something I would do. But it is different. It's different. But I didn't feel physically or mentally. I didn't feel shortchanged on getting ready, for the season at all.
Yachty's gone.
Yeah.
Willson Contreras takes over.
Hmm.
And there's some moving parts with that. And I think Willson got better in terms of understanding the staff and working with the staff
Yeah.
as the season went along. So tell me where Willson was and where he ended up in terms of how he handled you.
Yeah. Wilson's a great guy, great catcher, great teammate. And he did get better as this season went on. And he stepped into a really tough situation. When you lose a guy that's a future Hall of Famer like Yachty, those are tough shoes to fill. And I think a lot of us being gone for the World Baseball Classic, also kind of hampered his ability to learn us as a pitching staff. And it's tough to learn a pitching staff when you throw in the constraints of the pitch clock, because you can't go, give me one or two starts with a new catcher and let us cycle through all the signs and all the shakes and all this and that. But with that pitch clock, you don't have time to do that. And we can talk in between innings and we can talk before and after the game, but it's tough because you don't get that in-game feel, those in-game reps of, how a guy wants to manage his game. And, he got a lot better, and I'm really excited for this next season because I know he's working his tail off this offseason, just like everybody else. No one's happy with last year. And he took a lot of heat. He took a lot of heat off of us as a staff that wasn't performing well, and that takes a big guy to do that, to say, hey, I'm going to take some of this heat for our pitching staff doing well, when I'm usually the first guy to say, I'm in control of my game. If I pitch poorly, that's on me. And, he was big enough to stand up, and, he kind of took some of that heat and he took it in stride. We know he wasn't happy about it, but he did. He took it in stride, and, we worked with him, after some of that criticism, and he got tons better. And I thought he was great. I love Willson. Wilson's a great guy. He's intense, fiery. I love that fired up attitude that he's got. And I think that's something that we can all learn to feed off and, really, get that fire in our bellies after a tough season last year, and, come out swinging this 2024 season.
Is that something you guys found out about him, or maybe you knew from facing him when he was an opponent? But I mean, that guy wants to win, and that he's the kind of guy that's going to do anything it takes to win.
Oh boy, does he want to win. Maybe more than anybody than I've seen in quite a while. And I think that's an attribute that him and Yachty share, is their desire to win. I mean, Yachty wanted to win every game. Willson wants to go out there and win every game. Maybe not just win every game. He wants to pound those other teams, into the dirt every game. He wants to win 10-0 every game. And that's one of the things that I love about him the most.
How about Yachty coming back as a special advisor? He will be around, and that's got to be a good thing just because of the fire he brings and obviously the know-how.
Oh, absolutely. Just having a guy like that around, for the pitching staff and for our catchers to bounce things off and kind of confer with him and, to have him there, to guide us in situations that are tough, in between games, getting with him, whether it's game planning or, just overall team stuff. A guy like that's never out of place in a locker room and always welcomed. I'm excited to see him. I'm excited always to see Yadi.
For the first time in forever, no Wayno. What's that going to be like, not having him in terms of leadership? And does that kind of change your role? You've been around there for quite a while too.
Yeah, I was, until we signed, some of these other guys, I was in danger of being the oldest guy on the staff. I'm glad that I'm not, that's Lance now. And I think that's Wayno fills the role of so many veterans, beyond just picking up the check at dinner. So, he fills so many roles as a veteran. I mean, the ultimate veteran, baseball player, clubhouse guy, pitcher, friend, everything. And, to have this new mix of veterans, I think everyone will be able to take on and shoulder a little bit of his role and what he did. Lance probably going to, be a little bit of the tough love guy. Maybe you said he's, he likes to spar with the media. I know he's a tough competitive guy. So, maybe he can be, bad cop, and maybe we're playing a little good cop, bad cop kind of thing, a little Starsky and Hutch maybe. And, Gibson's, been in the league forever. And, Sonny's been with a lot of teams, and he's got, got some great stuff and some great experience. 10 plus, got a lot of guys now with 10 plus years in the big league. So I think that's something we can all feed off of. We can feed off and learn from each other. Now that he's gone, we have multiple, old guys, as, some people would want to call us, multiple old guys to kind of split that burden up.
I like the Starsky and Hutch thing. The fact that the season got off to a rough start and then everything snowballed and it went downhill on a
Yeah.
number of fronts. How difficult was that for the ball club to go through? And obviously, you guys knew you had the talent, but there were injuries. Just things never fell into place. I was thinking about it. Like, most people in the media were like, "Oh, they'll get it together." I'm sure you guys were like, "Oh yeah, it'll come together," and never did. How frustrating was that?
Super frustrating. It's like almost like we're caught in quicksand, right? The harder you try to swim yourself out of quicksand, the more it just pulls you down, right? And maybe we needed to just sit still and let someone throw us a branch or something, but we didn't really get the branch. We were there and we were struggling. We just kind of kept sinking. It was tough. It was tough on everyone. The Cardinals not used to losing. The last couple years, since I've been there, and all these other guys that came from other teams because they want to win, all of a sudden we're not doing that. So it's frustrating for everybody. But that's an anomaly. I think, sometimes there's teams that no one expects to win, and they start hot and it snowballs for them, and they end up, being great teams, maybe playoff teams. And I think it can happen to good teams as well, where, you're a good team built for the playoffs and it just never shakes out. You never get rolling. Statistical anomaly, an outlier. So I think we're going to be fine.
Sometimes when a season goes bad, there can be divides and rifts within the team. I never really saw that from you guys. You could tell everyone was down, everyone was frustrated. Sometimes we saw tempers flare about the way things were going. But
Yeah.
as a team, how well did you guys hold it together, knowing most of you are going to be together, for the upcoming season too?
Yeah. I mean, aside from maybe setting a record for like broken chairs or something like that, I think we handled all the losing really, really well. And, it's one of those things where sometimes, as a team, you have to just, bathe in that, losing stench just kind of as a group. Because if everyone starts to go off on a tangent, that's only going to, who knows how bad it could have gotten. And we had our stretches where we played really well, and we had, really tough luck in those one-run games, those extra inning games where we just, that one hit to fall, and that one. Baseball is an incredibly tough game. I mean, I can't tell you how many times you see the other team hits like 3 balls down the line and they're all like 6 inches fair, right? double, 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 6 inches fair. In the very next inning, we hit 3 balls down the line, and they're all 6 inches foul. Foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. And then it's maybe a fly out or a ground out or a strikeout when it's a little tiny bit. And that's a tough thing about baseball. And when I joke about it being an anomaly or, something like that, that's sometimes baseball can be really tough. But I think that's how we want it to be. We want the wins to be tough, and we don't want it to be easy, and baseball's not. So, the bottom line after a season like that is everyone went home. Everyone kind of looked at each other at the end of the season, and we all agreed like, hey, go home and do whatever you have to do to come back and make this team a winning team next year. Don't ask for it to be easier. We want those foul balls to be fair balls, but don't go begging for all the breaks and this and that. We just have to be better as a team. I have to be better as a pitcher. The starting pitcher set the tone. I have to be better. Our staff has to be good. We just need to play better.
So what does the offseason look like for you in terms of when you start getting ready, when you start stretching the arm out? How does that unfold for you?
I'm ready right now. I'm in the best shape of my life.
You always say that.
Yeah. Is it too early to say that? Usually I save that line for spring, but no, I mean, I'm in the gym 4 to 5 days a week, and I'm playing catch, 4 or 5 days a week. I'll get off a mound come January after New Year's, after the holiday season. And, just, busting my tail, lifting, running. I watch probably once or twice a week. I watch some video of me pitching, and I've had some conversations with Dusty. Start digging into the numbers and start dissecting the last year, which is it can be tough. It can be uncomfortable. For a coach to say like, hey, you kind of stunk at this. You can be better. And that's the good thing about Dusty is he's very honest with all his criticisms, and it's even tougher for me to look in the mirror and say, hey man, you kind of stunk sometimes. You got to be better. And I think that's part of the motivation I use when I'm out there in the gym, lifting weights, or if I'm running, or, doing my throwing, getting upset with myself after a bad throw. When these bullpens start, I'm going to be upset when I'm bouncing stuff in the bullpen, because you got to be sharp. It's the major leagues. You got to be sharp, or someone's going to eat your lunch, or someone's going to take your job.
All right, on the fun side of things, you fish a lot. You lost your buddy Kiz.
Yeah.
Hopefully he lands on his feet. I know he was a fishing partner. So my question is, what teammates have been out on the boat with you so far this offseason?
Oh, it's been a slow offseason for fishing. We've had some tough weather here. The ocean's been real mixed up. I've had Kiz out there a few times. And that's really it. I've had John Gant, not a teammate, but an old friend. But the guys from the team haven't really started to trickle in yet. I don't know if there's really anybody down here. I know Donnie was down here, but he's, still kind of rehabbing. So no one's really down here yet. And if they are,
what's the biggest thing you caught so far? Give me a fish story. Give me something from this offseason that we can sell. That we can sell this this product.
We've been catching a lot. I've been fishing with my kids a lot. And if you ask my kids about all the fish we're catching, they're humongous. Their arms are smaller. So when they do this, it's
right.
But we're doing a lot of fishing with my kids. We caught some really nice snapper one day. We kept catching some snapper. Caught a couple nice sailfish. Nice big sailfish, flying the kites. But it's been a little slow. Fishing's been a little slow. I've been out there. I've been filling the frying pan, doing my duties as a fisherman, bringing the fish home. But it's been a little slow. I think the weather's supposed to clear up next week. We get this big full moon at the end of the month. December, January is really good for the wahoo fishing. Hopefully get the boat out, maybe run across to the Bahamas, do something really fun, maybe catch a big swordfish. We'll do something. My biggest fish of the off season is still to come. That's for sure.
All right, that's good. So one of the big topics of the off season, along with all the other stuff going on with Hot Stove, is Otani and that humongous contract and the way it's backloaded, where they're going to be paying him when he's ready for AARP. I mean, it is backloaded as backloaded can be. As a player, I was just curious what your thoughts on that contract is. Obviously, a generational talent, maybe beyond that. Just your thoughts on that.
My initial thoughts are it's probably some type of a tax thing because California stinks and all their taxes really stink. So he's only making like $2 million a year while he's playing there in California. So he's only paying them like $1 million in taxes instead of 30. And I don't know what kind of treaty he gets, what the tax treaty with the United States and Japan is. If he moves back to Japan afterwards, if he's paying less taxes, or if he buys a house in Florida, Arizona, and then he's not paying any state tax. But I can really appreciate and support not wanting to give a state like California a bunch of tax because God knows what they're doing with it, and it's a mess.
So to see a guy do that, though, be one of the best hitters in baseball and one of the best pitchers too, it's really unbelievable.
Yeah, the talent's crazy, and I'm excited to see him do both. I hope he gets healthy really quick. I want to see him on the mound. I want to see him throwing 100 again. Want to see him hitting good, except for that opening series. I don't want to really see it then.
Right.
It makes our job a little tougher. But his talent is crazy, and he sets that bar really high, and he kind of shows you what is achievable through incredible talent, but not only incredible talent, but incredible work and incredible discipline. So I think as a player, I think that contract is great. I only wish I wouldn't have stopped hitting. When I was 14, I haven't really hit much since like middle school, but. It's incredible. What he does on the field is incredible.
Yeah, you'd be able to rake if you didn't stop hitting and focus. We know that. Last thing before I let you go.
Clock, but it's 5:00 somewhere. But after that, it kind of, you start throwing me the breaking balls. I don't love it.
All right, last thing, I'll let you go. So we've talked about how rough last season was. I know you want to be better. The team wants to be better. What's your confidence level with the upgrades to the starting rotation and guys getting another year under their belt and a lot of other guys really hungry to turn things around? What's your level of confidence that this team will once again be a playoff team?
I have the highest confidence. I know the St. Louis Cardinals were playoff World Series or bust. I know last year was kind of a bust, and we've had some short runs in the playoffs over the last couple of years, but I really, really like our additions and the young guys getting more experience. We lost Donnie for half a year last year. He's having a great year. We're going to get him back, full year him, all the other young guys with more experience, the young guys in the bullpen getting more experience, a veteran staff, Willson being more comfortable with the pitching staff. My confidence is through the roof.
Miles, we appreciate you taking time to chat with us. Always a pleasure. One of the best interviews in baseball. I didn't think I messed it up that much this time.
No, just my phone, the internet on my end.
It's all good. Thanks for watching this edition of Cat's Corner. On the way out, if you don't mind, reach down, hit the subscribe button. Thanks again to Miles Michaels.